feel bad about ourselves, make a few fart jokes, poop a little.
Excuse me?
Yeah, you're excused.
Okay. It has been a while since we've been together.
Yeah.
It's been weird.
I don't like it.
I don't either.
Not even like getting together as a family.
No, really, like, we've been all apart. It's been sad. All sad and stuff.
Which is funny because this is like what normal families do.
Yeah, we're just super hyper interdependent on each other.
Yeah.
That's not to say that I'm not calling you guys and or mom. Like,
Oh, I know. I call mom.
I call mom like almost every day.
Yep.
Because I'm a mama's boy.
I say I would call dad, but I never know when he's at work or something, and I don't want to interrupt.
Yeah.
See, I don't care. I do that all the time too.
Do you?
Yeah.
Usually I'll call, and that's when you get the his official business introduction when he answers the phone, and you're like, oh shoot, I called him at the wrong time.
Ken McBride. Hello, this is Ken.
How you doing?
I do that though.
Oh.
I'll have moments because I work in IT, and I answer, IT, this is Jake, almost like 8 hours a day. So there are points afterwards that I have people call me and I'll answer that way. And
I'm
and
terrible.
I'm like,
at
oh
it.
yeah, that's not what I'm doing.
I am terrible at it, and like even if I know that it's my wife who's calling me, I'll answer with "This is Dan."
Yep.
And she'll be like, "Hi, Dan." I'm like, "Oh, hi, honey."
And that's I don't have to do a lot of phone work, thank goodness, but I still have a problem. Hello, this is Josh.
McBride.
I think it just makes it a little easier.
At least I don't have to do, hello, this is Brother Joshua McBride. What can I do for you?
I think you should.
No.
I demand it. From now on, I'm going to call you, and if you don't answer that, I'm going to be so.
McBride residence, and you're like, oh, she got to the phone first.
You guys ready to start?
No.
Jake?
I'm here.
Okay. Josh?
I was outvoted.
I never said I was ready to
Oh,
start.
okay. Yeah, sure.
How dare you assume? You know what they say about people who assume.
I don't know.
Welcome to the Twaddling Along podcast. This is your host, Dan McBride, here with my brothers and co-host after a 2-week vacation? Question mark? Josh
Not a vacation.
and Jake.
I have one less organ.
For those of you who were
Those are who?
Danny, did
it's
you?
already started.
Hey, it's Dr. Seuss time. Those who are those who.
Seriously. For those of you who wondered what actually happened, let's just say we all had a not so great week.
No, it was the week
It
from
was-
hell.
It was a pretty crappy week between.
Well, let's be honest.
Last time, and
You
now.
guys had. I just was trying to be sympathetic, and just got a cold.
No, I think we went through like a whole rush of sickness and major surgeries in some people's cases. Jake, as he said,
Yeah.
is now sans one organ.
I am. And changing my diet and crying whenever I kind of try to roll around because you never realize how much how much core muscles you use for every single activity until you've had multiple cuts into it.
Here's my
So-
thing. I've never had to have an organ removed, but like, how can you know like that they did it?
Oh, trust me.
Ooh.
You know.
But like, if they're like, "Yep, we took your kidney or whatever," and you're like,
Did you
really?
really?
or did you just put me under and then woke me up?
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, Jake, but you have the internal itchiness.
You do get the internal itchiness where it is.
So
And then I had the outer itchiness because they also shaved around that area.
So your hair
and so
starts
my
growing back?
hairs are growing back now, and so it's just a
and you
wonderful
can't
thing.
scratch it because there's wounds.
There are, yeah.
I'm sorry, Jake.
So, but it's cool. They have a new surgical glue. Well, I don't think it's new, but they have the surgical glue they use instead of like just
Stitches.
outright stitches. So it's really cool to kind of see until the glue starts pulling on the newly grown hairs.
Not my hairs.
So that's again, you go to sit up and you're like,
And it's funny because our dad also had surgery the same
That's
week.
true.
So literally
Yeah.
it was just surgery. Danny was
Sickness.
pooping. I was coughing.
Dad, we kind of knew what was going to happen. Mine
Jake
kind of
was
came
kind
up
of
a
the
little
surprise.
surprised.
Yeah, and do you know what it was? It was our freaking men's trip that did it
was?
all. Yep. We go up to the mountains for a weekend.
We
And
did
when I
take
say
a-
weekend,
We did take a
like-
boys trip.
like a few hours together.
I mean, we were together Friday and Saturday.
That's
I mean,
true.
that whole time I was sitting going, oh. And guess what? I couldn't eat, fatty foods, greasy foods. So
And-
what is Danny making?
Hello.
Steak,
Hello.
And it was
potatoes,
Yes.
bacon,
not to like rub it in.
sausage.
The potatoes were cooked perfectly. The skins were just
Oh, so well, the problem is now I've been spending a whole lot of money on new cooking equipment.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so we got a new bread maker.
Dude, bread
I'm-
makers.
I'm
are
terribly
my-
excited.
Oh,
'Cause
we
we-
love our bread maker.
Yeah, I say we got one, and then I also got a new air fryer, but I got one of those more expensive ones. I think it's Typer. I don't know if you guys have heard of the Typer brand, but I'm gonna get some just because I've looked up all these recipes and stuff, and we have an air fryer and it's worked okay. But this one, it's like I can cook, somewhat unhealthy food in a healthy way.
Pauline made
So,
a whole wheat chocolate like cookie donut tonight
oh,
with our air fryer. I'm literally obsessed. It is so good.
there's a reason
guys
that I
remember-
look like what I do.
Do you guys remember when we were little that we used to get they were called the Devil's Food Cake cookies? You guys remember those?
I don't know if I
It
do.
might have been before your guys' time, but we used to get these devil food cake cookies that were like, it was like almost soft like a cake. And Pauline figured out how to make them in an air fryer. And it
Well,
was
then she needs to send that over.
delightful.
Hey, if you guys want to do something terrible with an air fryer, you get the croissant rolls from Pillsbury,
Uh-huh.
We saw.
and then
Croissant?
you wrap them around Oreos, put those in the air fryer.
Does it melt the Oreos?
It pretty much makes the Oreo kind of melt in the middle,
Like
and then
a
you
fry.
have it
Ooh.
is a phenomenal
but
thing.
deep fried Oreos, like at a fair. Ooh.
But again,
See, I
guess
never
what?
liked the deep fried Oreos.
Well, you're dumb.
Now the deep fried bananas.
No, deep fried butter.
See now, and this is unfortunately stuff that I can't really have as much anymore.
Deep fried ice cream.
Have they said like is it fat mostly that you're
It's
have to be
mostly
careful?
saturated fat. I do have to be careful with a little bit of fat, and then just like your normal red meats and some other stuff. I have to.
Gotcha.
It's not that I can't eat it. It's just being aware that
It's going to cause some distress after.
just because what was taken out kind of helps
Yeah.
with that. So
that's the update, everyone.
Yeah, but we're back.
Jake has to be healthy. Danny
I'm down
lost
15
it all,
pounds.
and Josh just
Lose it all.
I will say
I had
I
back-to-back sicknesses,
you did,
and it was awful.
and I went to visit the sick people. Except for you, I didn't visit you
You never visited me once.
because you didn't have an organ removed,
you sent
I
pictures.
say,
of,
Josh helped me walk inside. It was fun.
oh, Josh, that
and
was
you
cute.
looked like you had just gone like
Well,
been
I
hit
felt
by a
terrible
truck.
because the original plan is I don't know if you knew this, but I was coming to the hospital,
Oh,
and that morning when I went, bleh, I thought I'm
probably safe, but
not gonna
hey,
go and
I
say
got
hi
some
to
pretty good
Jake.
anti-nausea medication though. I could have given you some.
Yeah, well,
Oh wait, that's illegal. Sorry, you can't do that.
I was gonna say, do you get it IV?
Sorry, FDA.
I did get the IV, but then I also got some, and I didn't end up actually needing it. I actually did pretty good afterwards.
How was the general anesthesia? Did you come out of it okay?
It was nice. I will say it was. They rolled me in, and then they put it on. And I said, hey, and then the guy's pretty much like, hey, have a good nap. And next thing I know, I wake up partially, and there's this nurse feeding me ice. And I'm very excited about this. And I said, can I have some more? And she would do it, and she would give it into me. And then I would sit there. I'm like, I love this. Can I have another one? And she
Ice
would give me
chips.
some more. And then I woke up in the room with Julie
But
in that room.
the first thing that you said to me, and I was so excited because I have been claiming it for years, and Jake finally was able to partake of it. Lorna Doones after surgery are manna from heaven.
Oh yeah,
Lorna Doones, huh?
That whole week, I probably
So
I
good.
had like a whole package of Lorna Doones.
So good.
So, but I mean, it was that crackers. Mom was super nice and made me chicken noodle soup. I was spoiled, and not able to move or
I was
do
gonna
anything
say,
exciting.
in
but
horrible pain.
yeah, it was.
but spoiled.
It was one of
I'll
those
just
fun
say
things.
it was really weird coming over when you first, because Jake doesn't nap, for anyone who knows. Like, Jake's never been
I don't
Ever
nap at
able
all.
to nap.
Like ever.
But like he was falling asleep in the chair next to me, and it was like, is he dead?
Yeah, no, it was.
Are
it
you
was
okay?
And not only that, but you couldn't sleep for a long time, right? They had to keep waking you up every once in a while.
Yeah, you had to walk around for blood clots and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, when I was at home, I didn't have to worry about that, but I did have to walk around. They did give me the cool massage shoes
Oh, yeah.
at the
The water
hospital.
massage shoes.
The ones they use to kind of keep the blood flowing through your legs and stuff. Those were kind of cool too. So there's a few things. It's like I came back from it. And I guess I was super nice because they even wrote me a thank you letter for how nice I was. So it really,
Did you write a thank you letter back?
I didn't. I don't know who to send it to because I can't read their handwriting. But
Little doctor
it was just cute because but they told Julie. I guess I was asking how everyone was doing. Are you okay? I came and I was asking how Julie was doing and how the kids were doing.
Julie texted first about you that you kept asking if your son had gotten to school and if he
Yeah,
was
you
okay.
kept repeating a question again and again and again.
Well, and because that was the concern is because I was like, Julie, you have to go home to take my son to school. I'm like, I'll be fine, and so she did, and I guess maybe that was just still in my mind.
Oh, that's
So,
nice.
But I mean, it was one of those experiences where, again, not the greatest thing going into it, but man, that anesthesia is some good stuff.
It's so. I will say.
this is why we don't do drugs.
say
people, 'cause I
we
think
would get addicted
like
so
it
quick.
We came out of
lot.
it. I came out of it and I was experiencing pain pretty quick, and then they gave me some pain meds, and that was also some good stuff too.
And
But
you're like, I can see the problem.
I got off that pretty quick though. So, and then I was just taking ibuprofen.
There you go.
Well, like,
So now
speaking of
everyone
ibuprofen,
knows.
speaking of ibuprofen,
I don't know. I'm looking at you to do a good segue.
And speaking of,
A pain-filled 19th century. Oh, sorry.
Speaking of medical procedures.
Speaking of now putting
speaking of
Jake through a bunch of pain by going over history.
family history, we are on the history. Yeah, we're back with
We
our.
are on history.
We are actually going to start considering this season 2
Season 2.
of the
This is
Twaddling Along podcast because we have officially made it through our first year. And this is the start of our second year as a podcast.
editor. Please add our new theme song.
Do we have a new theme song?
Thanks for listening.
I hope not, because the first theme song cost a buttload for us to license. So
I just wanted Danny to do more work because he's our editor.
seriously,
Oh, Danny, you're doing so good.
yeah.
Everyone clap for Danny.
Until we get like an actual editor, maybe one day, and then everybody will realize how crappy I was as an editor, and they'll be like,
If we ever get to a point where we're able to hire an editor, dagnabbit, we've done really well for ourselves.
Amen.
yeah. So we are back on history,
History.
Oh.
and that is
Where's my ibuprofen?
I just like to point out, everyone, that Jake texted last week when we were all ill, and he's like, "Are we just like not going to do history? Because
I know
that'd be great."
Jake tried to skip over history.
Well,
he was like, I don't want to do history at all.
I was kind of excited to move on to other things, but no, we had to start over.
No, we've got to do history.
And especially this history.
Yes, because this is a really interesting one, and it happens to be picked by a Joshua David McBride. Josh, what are we talking about today?
We are talking about one of my favorite musicals,
Oh, and what is that?
Pirates of Penzance.
Oh,
Because with all our faults, and that's faults, not faults,
Fouts.
we love our queen.
We love
Queen Victoria. Brr, 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 brr.
Queen.
I don't think they had that type of blowhorn back in that day,
Oh,
Josh.
sorry.
There we go.
Queen Victoria is our topic today, and she's actually my second favorite queen. My first queen is my love of my life because she's my queen.
Oh,
Oh, Queen Elizabeth? I'm sorry. She passed away
I
just
thought you were going
barely.
to talk about Freddie Mercury. He's my favorite queen.
No, Queen Victoria is my favorite British queen. I have to say, she's about tied with Elizabeth II. I liked her a lot.
Oh, Elizabeth. is
I
up
lived
there.
in the Commonwealth during the reign of Queen Elizabeth II, and it was fantastic.
I lived in the
I
Commonwealth.
I found myself residing in the Commonwealth.
And it was. And I will say this.
Socialism.
Queen Elizabeth Queen Elizabeth was worshipped, but Victoria was worshipped
Very
even
much
more.
so.
Everything
She
is
became
named Queen
very
Victoria, Victoria Street. There were statues of Queen Victoria that I would run to every morning.
You would run to him.
Yeah.
You would run to
I could just see Josh skipping.
I must go see Victoria.
But yes, Queen Victoria, very interesting story, and we're going to talk about it.
I love it.
So I'm going to give a little bit of backstory. Queen Victoria was born 18...
19.
Yeah, 18.
1819.
Oh, you're finishing my...
I thought you were.
Sorry.
I thought you were trying to start
I was
over
like-
for him. I'm like, I think you're in the wrong century there,
No.
Danny.
1819, the 24th of May, 1819. But previous to that, her grandfather, our dear crazy King George III, who just so happened to be the one that kicked us out of England. And when I say that, we kind of killed people to get out of England. But he had a few sons who were a little crazy.
A little crazy.
They were nuts.
They were not great at all.
And because of that, they didn't have any legitimate children because they had children with every other woman in England. And because of that, there was no heir to the throne. So there was King George IV, who was known as Spoiled King George because he spent all the money that England had saved up during King George III. And then there was the other one, King William IV, and he was not good either.
Yeah, but he wasn't terrible.
He wasn't as bad as King-
I was compared to King George IV. King
Yeah.
George IV really was kind of he was
nuts.
not great,
No.
and he was racked with syphilis, and he was a mess of a monarch, which actually explains a lot of the upbringing of why Victoria turned out the way that she did.
Yes, so Queen Victoria's dad was the fourth son of King George III.
Correct.
And was Prince Edward, Duke of Kent and Strathern. But the sad thing is he was old. He was like 40, 50, which was old in those days. And there weren't any heirs. And so he's like, I'm going to marry this lady called Victoria. Married this lady, Victoria, from Saxe-Coburg, was of the House of Saxe-Coburg-Saalfeld, but it was a junior line of Saxe-Coburg-Gotha, which that name should ring a bell because later on, that's what her last name would be.
Yes.
But he married Princess Victoria, and they had little Queen Victoria.
Oh,
But she wasn't Queen Victoria. She was actually fifth in line at the time of her birth. But due to rapid deaths and everything, she became the rightful heir of the throne really early.
yeah. Her father died when she was 8 months old,
Yep, 8 months.
and then her uncle, who was King George, was actually failing in health pretty much right off the bat of his reign.
Yeah.
And he literally, there's actually some writings that say that he survived only to get Victoria to the age of 18 because of how much he hated Victoria's
his
mother.
Yeah. And for good reason.
For
She
a
was
very
kind
good
of
reason. She was a mess.
she was messed too.
Princess Victoria of Saxe-Coburg-Saalfeld.
I
Yeah.
was about to say you had to say the full name, Danny.
Yes, Princess Victoria of Saxe-Coburg-Saalfeld. She was a conniving,
She wanted the throne.
vindictive, yeah.
And she had a little partner called John Conroy who was in it with her that was going to try to manipulate little Queen Victoria to give them some power.
And
basically.
they did this by raising her in a system called the Kensington system.
Which was basically lock them in a building and let them not experience anything else.
Very much so. I mean, like to a point, like if you were to hear this nowadays happening, you'd be like, oh, that's child abuse.
Yes.
Oh, let's call the constables.
Is that where they get the story of locking a princess in a tower until the rightful age where the prince comes and grabs her?
No, but ironically enough,
This is exactly what it is.
what happened. So Sir John Conroy, his whole thing was the kings before her were so wicked, so morally corrupt that let us raise her in pure perfection.
She basically was raised as almost like a nun in a convent.
Very
like,
much so. So constant
morally,
supervision,
yeah.
like nonstop supervision. She could not walk down a hallway by herself.
Yeah.
Limited social interaction. She wasn't kept with other children. She couldn't visit other family members. The only person that had any kind of limited reach to her was the king, but even that was stopped by this Lord or Sir
Conroy.
John Conroy.
Yeah. Yeah, so she didn't have a nice raising,
No.
and because of it, she kind of disliked her mother. And she
That's
made
an
it
understatement.
very much so that her mother and this Sir Conroy had zero to no power.
When she turned 18,
Yeah.
the king died. And the very, very first thing she did, literally, it's depicted in some kind of fictional things as like right after she hears. It was more than likely a couple days later. But she went and said to Conroy and said, "You are to be removed from my service and you will have no contact with me from now on."
And that did.
And they moved out of the house that they were in into Buckingham Palace. And at the time, because of the social norms, she had to stay with her mother, but she forced Conroy and her mother to live on the opposite end of the palace under a lock and key and said, I will have nothing to do with you. And she pretty much like
Did what they did to her.
yeah. She like took them out. And it shocked everybody because everybody in the royal court was kind of under the impression that once she came to power, her mother and this Conroy guy would kind of be under her
Advisors,
control
yeah.
because she was painted as kind of a dum-dum.
But she was
Anything but.
She was smart.
She was a spitfire of a little lady.
Yeah. Now we should add that she did have step siblings. Her mother was married before and was widowed, and so she had two step siblings that she considered very dear friends for her entire life because they were really the only people she could be friends with at that time. So she becomes queen, 18 years old. Literally, the king held out so there wouldn't be a queen regent.
Yep.
And she becomes queen and starts doing her thing.
She rightfully so pushes her independence, which is kind of ironic for Queen Victoria because later in life she's very anti-women's rights.
Which is funny to me.
Yeah, like she's very like anti-women getting the vote and everything like that, and yet her beginning is kind of marked with these huge sweeping "I am independent, I am woman, hear me" roar like this. Roar, 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 oh, etc. Roar. Oh, I'm going to roar really nice now.
Yes. And so, but first she had to get married. And she was married not too long after her ascension.
3 years.
Was it 3 years? Yep. 3 years. So she was 21. I guess that's a little bit of time. I didn't realize. But she had some suitors come through, and she wrote in her journal about one suitor who just so happened to be her first cousin, Prince Albert.
Of Saxe-Coburg and Gotha.
Yep. Who just so happened to be his mom or her mom's brother's son.
Yep.
So
it's all a sordid affair. And because of that, the royal family still has hemophilia.
Yep, exactly. And we could talk about that at a different day.
Inbreds.
But yes, they fell in love. And it's funny because a lot of times these marriages are just kind of lined up because you're a person of status. You're a person of status that's married to, keep things together. But in her journal, she really did fall head over heels for Prince Albert.
She loved
I read here she described his beautiful figure and broad shoulders.
Yeah. Because, and we'll hear this later, she wasn't really a looker herself.
She was a tiny little lady with a big old nose.
Yep.
As a matter of fact, I have a caricature that I brought. I don't know where I put it,
but yeah, she wasn't everyone's first choice. But
and yet he loved her.
He loved her very much so.
The other thing is, even though she was like super involved with Prince Albert, he loved her equally as much,
and really
and supported
was
her.
perfect for her.
He was very much for a prince regent. He really did a lot to kind of give her the support she needed that she would end up having to utilize for a lot of her life.
Yep. And they spend a lot of time together in the years that they had together.
I was curious of where you were going with this. I was kind of excited.
Because he didn't, in all respects, he didn't really live that long after,
20
years. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But they got a lot done.
They had 9 children. That's what we're talking about. They had 9 children.
They had 9 children and who all had issues.
Well, they did have issues, but I think a lot of the issues came from Victoria, even though she was seen as the grandmother of Europe and the mother of England, was not actually a good mother.
No.
She did not like her children.
No.
And she was incredibly critical of King Edward.
Yeah.
Who came after her.
Who ended up becoming a playboy himself.
He was a bit of a player. That's why we don't buckle that's why we don't button the bottom of our waistcoats. I don't know if you know this.
I did not know that.
So, when you wear a suit and you keep the bottom button unbuttoned, the reason that you do that is because King Edward was portly enough that he couldn't button the bottom one, and it just became the style afterward to copy him.
I was kind of nervous because the way you initially were unbuttoning, I thought you meant the pants. He just had his pants unbuttoned all the time.
His nickname was Flirty Birdie, so...
And he liked to party. There is an excellent Stephen Fry Amazon short podcast thing where he talks about the Edwardian era. And King Edward, he was a player. He liked the food and the wine and the women.
So here is her children, and we'll go over her children and still go on with her life. But she had Victoria, who later became the German Empress and was the mother of Wilhelm II, who would later try to blow up Britain. And then King Edward VII, who playboy. Alice, Grand Duchess of Hesse and Rhine. Alfred, Duke of Saxburg, Coburg, and Gotha. Helena, Princess Christian of Schleswig-Holstein, who, I can't remember if it's Alice or Helena that Queen Elizabeth II's husband comes from. Also,
I think it's Alice.
Yeah, so they're like second cousins.
Yeah, because I think that Alice begat Alice, and Alice was Prince Philip's mother.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
I'm already lost.
And then you have Prince Arthur, Duke of Connaught and Strathearn, Prince Leopold, Duke of Albany.
Leopold.
And then the youngest. I'm sorry, Danny. It's actually... No, it's not this one. Beatrice, Princess Henry of Battenberg.
Can I just give myself a title? Because those titles just sounded like
what's
tomfoolery.
Funny, they are tomfoolery. The irony is that that's not their full title. If you were to read Queen Victoria's full title, it is like 3.5 paragraphs long. Queen Victoria.
Yeah,
Queen.
Fun fact: that's not even her first name. Her name's not Victoria. She was christened as Alexandria Victoria.
Oh, that's right.
But she dropped her first name when she became queen.
Oh.
So
I want to backtrack a little bit.
Yes, please do.
Because so she got married in 1839.
Yes.
And I'm reading here that during her first years of the reign, she was heavily influenced by the first Prime Minister, Lord Melbourne, which I think is just the perfect Prime Minister
Lord
name.
Melbourne.
But one thing that's funny is because of this, this says that this type of relationship led to the bedchamber crisis.
Yes.
And at first I was like, oh, what does this mean? But it actually is really funny. So when the Whigs lost their majority, the incoming Tory Prime Minister, Robert Peel, I love the name of the parties.
Peel.
The Whig Party and the Tory Party. So they demanded that Victoria replace her Whig ladies of the bedchamber with Tory ones. Victoria refused, seeing her household as a personal matter, not a political one. Peel refused to form a government, and Melbourne's government was temporarily reinstated. So how about that? Can you imagine? It's like you have a president get into the White House, and it's like, well, let's use our current president. Trump gets in there, and he's like, there's too many Democrat maids in here.
just use them all out.
We need to get rid of them.
But the funny thing is it actually kind of painted a target on Queen Victoria.
Very
that
much
crisis.
so.
Well, but it solidified her stubbornness and desire to control her personal affairs. Like where before, like the affairs looks like they were kind of controlled by some of the party
So-
things, but
And this was kind of the first because Peel, who was supposed to take over, refused to govern under the restrictions imposed by the Queen and consequently resigned and went back to the Prime Minister, Melbourne,
She
Yeah.
went through 10 prime ministers,
which is absurd.
which is amazing.
Yeah.
She also went through two of the most powerful of the prime ministers, one Benjamin Disraeli and William Gladstone, which were like huge players.
Gladstone was a big one.
Yeah, well, Gladstone is why there was an empire. I mean,
Yeah.
Gladstone was the one that was pushing the empire, or was it Disraeli? I can't remember. One of the two was super heavy into like the empire and the Queen being an empress. That's where they dispolished like the East India Company and just took over India.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to me that an entire country, pretty much an entire continent, was ruled not by a government, but by a company.
So
That is a little
here's
crazy.
some fun facts. 22% of the world's GDP was being made in India at the time that England came over.
explain what G.
Gross domestic product.
Yeah, so basically the product of the world at that time was being made in India.
Most of it was like spice and was this was pre industrial era.
Yes.
How did England conquer India? That's going to have to be one we go over, and that I'm going to hate too.
We'll
but
have
a good
to
question.
because it's actually there is some really interesting things, and I would love to go over some of the wars, like because she went through. I think I've got it written down here. Hold on, let's see.
I mean, she brought, during her reign, England became the biggest empire ever and reached its peak.
Yeah, so she let's see.
even without America,
India, most of Africa, parts of Asia, including huge portions of China, they all fell under British control.
Yep.
And
So
she was quite literally the Empress of India. That was one
Yep.
of her titles from 1876 all the way until she passed away.
which is 25 years later. So yeah, she had some political pull, as people would say.
She
because she ruled her empire. The sun would never set on her empire.
No.
It was the sun would continue around, and there was always a British colony that had the sun.
oh,
So it was pretty wild.
that just reminds me of Shanghai Nights.
The irony, the irony of that is that even though she was queen during like the large growth of the empire of England, it was also kind of the waning power of the king and the queen.
Yeah.
So this is when their constitutional monarchy started taking a lot more effect, and the prime ministers and then parliament actually had a lot more power.
Yep.
Like they gave themselves power under Queen Victoria. Up until that point, the king still had a fairly good hand
Yeah.
in what was happening. And I mean, you saw at the very beginning, you know, she rightfully kind of pushed back on the parliament on some things, which it would be unheard of now.
Yeah.
It would not happen.
And she kind of changes the monarchy until what we kind of see today, more of a figurehead position that people can admire. But
Oh, look at
and I will say this, even today, the top celebrities of at least where I was in Canada were the royalty. They were the celebrities.
Well, even here in America, I remember when William and Kate got married.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody was
It was huge.
freaking out.
Or Henry, was it Henry and or
Harry
Harry
and
Meghan?
Meghan.
Yep. But yeah, they were like, things would close down for events. So Queen Victoria, she gets married, has a bunch of kids, the end. Or is it
1861, Albert dies.
Albert dies and she is heartbroken.
Yeah, she goes into a very deep, very horrible mourning. He dies of typhoid fever,
That's really
which
sad.
is crazy. It's just one of those things that you don't even hear about anymore,
No,
typhoid. But yeah, it took him.
Yeah, she went into a very deep place, a dark place, and she kind of disappeared.
She did.
For a while.
I went to, so in Scotland, we went to Blair Castle.
Yeah.
And that was one of her retreats. She would actually go up there to mourn. And they talked about like she would be this 5-foot ghost of a woman dressed all in black that would kind of just wander around.
Yeah, it says that she did undertake her official governmental duties, yet chose to remain secluded in her royal residency. So she never did anything publicly for several years.
Yeah, and literally until the 1870s.
Yeah.
So she also had a little bit of something going on with a John Brown.
And surprisingly, John Brown is the hero in a lot of people's eyes because it brought Victoria out of seclusion, because he gave her some...
If anybody ever wants to watch a very fun movie, and I can't even remember what it is, but Billy Connolly plays John Brown and... who is it? Can't remember who plays the Queen, but someone famous plays the Queen, and it is a great movie because it's Billy Connolly.
Yes.
It's just amazing.
This is what's crazy is because Albert had passed away, people were concerned that Victoria was going to just remain whatever. But the romantic connection was actually widely known, or at least rumored, by pretty much everyone. A lot of people referred to the Queen as Mrs. Brown, believe it or not.
Oh, it was Judi Dench. She's the one who played.
I was about to be like,
Dench.
if it's anyone, it's probably going to be Judi Dench.
Yeah.
But she was known as Mrs. Brown because of
Behind
how
her back.
close.
Yeah, they became very, very close.
Yeah, and... sorry, go ahead.
No, it's really funny that that's the case because it's interesting here. It's that during the rest of her life, she only wore the black mourning clothes.
Yep.
But then she also had Albert's rooms maintained exactly as he had left them, with his clothing and shaving water laid out each morning.
Yeah, there are speculations that she had a full breakdown.
She went a little crazy.
I don't even put my own clothes out. So, I mean, I want a butler. Do you guys want a butler? I think it'd be kind of cool to have a butler.
I don't know. So I watched something the other day that talked about the Windsor boys, which is like the king and all of the princes and everything, and how they are, because of the way that they were raised and because of that kind
They're
of upbringing,
clueless.
they're clueless of everything. You have someone who literally puts toothpaste on your toothbrush every morning, who irons your shoelaces. I mean, like, and I'm not kidding. Like, does everything for you so you don't have that kind of skill anymore. You don't have any concept of money. You don't have any concept of...
So what we need to do is we need to make a reality TV show and put them in really peculiar situations.
Yep.
I'm
see
sure
what happens.
Harry has had to learn a couple things.
And I think Kate has kicked William's butt. So
Well, I've seen, I occasionally get shorts that pop up on my various social media stuff where it will show, I don't know if you want to call them high class English school boys,
oh yeah.
tasting American food.
Oh yeah.
And like their posh language is they're like explaining how abhorrent the food looks before they eat it and absolutely love it, which is really funny to me.
I think it's just normal. I get those too. I think it's just normal schoolboys. So
And that's the thing is, if that's the case, it's just really funny because it's like, for us here in America, I mean, it's just like, wow, that's really sophisticated and upbeat. Where it's like, do they just see us as a bunch of hillbillies?
I think so.
And if that's the case, what are the hillbillies to them?
I don't know. I never felt like a hillbilly, but I was in Scotland. I think that's, you know what it is? The Scottish are the hillbillies. That's what it is.
That's probably exactly what it is.
The Billy Connollys of the world.
And the problem is that we're descended from them. So
Yeah, we are the definition of hillbillies.
we go over and say McBride, and people are like, oh, one of them yokel folk, huh?
Yeah.
The ones that like used
Oh,
to
you didn't say yodel folk. You said yokel.
So there was a bunch of crazy stuff that happened during her reign.
Sorry.
Josh is dying.
Josh tried to yodel and ended up choking to death.
Choked on his own oxygen.
Yeah.
So one of the big things is that she was super fascinated by technology.
Big time. She kind of was a great proponent of the Industrial Revolution that occurred in the UK at the time.
She was the first royal to be photographed.
Yep.
She was the first to use a telegraph.
Uh-huh.
She was the first to ride a train. And then she was the first that installed electric lights inside Windsor Castle. And I looked this up because I was kind of curious. She installed the lights in the castle only 3 years after Edison actually started making his bulbs. Mm-hmm. And I mean, there was different kinds of lights that were outside of Edison's stuff. I know that, what's his name? I've got it written down here somewhere too. This is the problem. I'm old, and so I write things down, and then I lose it immediately.
As soon as you pull out your reading glasses, we'll know.
Anyways, but they had different kind of lights that she was fascinated with, and once Edison kind of built the light bulb and made it work, she was the earliest proponent in England.
Yeah.
So,
And literally, England became the powerhouse of the world, along with the United States.
Do you need a cough again, Josh?
Yeah, sorry. But with their industrial revolution, everyone had
the coal.
Yep. They said that England became a very urban
And
place.
Did you try to say rural?
Yeah.
rural?
It came out like rural.
Oh, do you know what's so sad? Totally side tangent. I was talking about oil the other day, and I said oil to Kylie, and she was like, "What are you saying?" And I was like, "Yeah, go get some oil." And I was like, and then I caught myself, and I was like, "What am I?"
Well, I don't know what you're doing because that has nothing to do with like where we were raised.
Like saying horror.
Horror. I love that episode. But yeah, industry in UK blossomed.
Exploded.
Yeah, it literally was
for the bad or for the good and the bad.
Yeah.
I mean, part of the reason that Dickens' writings was what it was.
Jake, you're so inappropriate.
Oh, Jake.
It just Dickens, little Dickens.
Well, we're talking about Dickens, that of.
I know. I was reading about her the child reform, like where they enacted the education law allowing, enforcing that children needed to go to school to age 10. Which can you imagine that was going on today?
Brogan would be so excited.
And so when you said Dickens, I just was thinking, oh, the little Dickens, and it just caused me to laugh.
One side note: we cannot do a podcast on him.
Dickens?
No.
Why?
Because we did Mark Twits. What are we going to call the others?
Oh.
Little
Dickensians.
Richard.
Little Richards.
Touche.
We'll let everyone else shorten it.
Yeah.
We'll have to bring Julian for that one. Julie's pretty well versed in the Dickensian.
She and Danny can have a riot.
So
I love Charles Dickens. I do like his writing. So one of the funny things I think about this is, so you've got this queen who is super adopting like all of the technology around here, is considered very modern, and yet is so conservative.
Very, very conservative.
So conservative. And because she was so conservative, it influenced like the morals of the day.
Yeah. Victorian era.
Yeah.
So much so that England at the time, during all these industrial things, women started gaining a voice, wanted to have a vote, and Queen Victoria was the biggest
she had a day
opponent against it.
Yep.
Women should not vote. She called it a hypocrisy and like the worst thing that could ever happen.
listen to what I say.
Yeah, and her big thing was that women needed to stay in the domestic roles.
Yeah.
The irony being that she was terrible at the domestic roles.
Yes.
She was a terrible mother. And yet it was almost like she enforced everything that she wasn't on the women of England. She also wasn't, that great on a couple other things. Like the Irish famine happened during her time.
Yeah. Potato
And
famine.
She was not sympathetic in the least.
No.
She donated 2,000 pounds, while the Sultan of the Ottoman Empire offered 10,000 pounds, which at that time was a good amount of money.
Yeah.
Her government
Took it.
with strong encouragement, they say from her, went to the Sultan of the Ottoman Empire and said, "You can't do that because it will make Victoria look bad." And he said, "Well, then just raise up your amount that you're giving." And they said, "No, the Irish deserve it." 100%, that's what they said.
She was very racist.
That's where
She was
all of them came over to America.
Yeah, she was
Hey,
pretty darn racist.
Didn't we have ancestors that came over to
Our one of our McBride lines,
Holy
because we
crap.
have two McBride lines.
Not only were we the yokels in Scotland, but we were also the
I don't know
spies.
if any of ours were directly because of the potato famine, though.
I don't think, but it was around the 1850s, 1860s.
Yeah,
that they
because
came over.
most of ours came back to Scotland because we were.
Yeah,
we were,
and I will say that
we're not
she
pure
lived with
Irish.
her grandparents in Ireland, but then came back to Scotland.
we're not true. So unfortunately, if we look at our family history, we're actually
We're the pigs.
We are the Scottish people that were sent to Ireland to try to cull the Irish. We're not very nice.
And then we joined them.
And then we did. We actually ended up intermingling.
We
and
enjoyed their
sleeping.
Irish flair. I don't know what the accent was. I apologize profusely.
My Lucky Charms.
I don't know which word.
Oh,
I have to do something.
Also, the London Underground Railroad was opened during her time.
well,
1863.
The Underground Railroad?
The London Underground. Not the Underground Railroad of slavery time. However,
slavery was abolished.
Well, it was abolished before her time, but she was queen during the United States Civil War. And there were people that were trying to court the English court during the Civil War to try to get support for both the North and the South. So she was involved with that.
Yep.
She was involved with the Education Acts, like Jake said, Public Health Acts, the workhouse system, the poor law.
But while all this was happening, she did highly favor that people stayed in their own class.
Yep.
So
she was very classist.
She was anti-capitalist in the sense of she didn't want you to become
Different than when you were
self-made.
born.
Yep. And so if you were born poor, you died poor.
Yep.
If you were born wealthy, you died wealthy.
Yep.
So
It was incredibly classist. A couple other things that happened during her time. Charles Darwin, who was an English biologist and naturalist, published On the Origin of Species. She did read it, and she hated it, and called him godless. At least according to one account. I don't know if it's true or not.
can you imagine? And I think there's a reason behind it because she is the head of the Anglican Church.
She is.
And so
That's
if
true.
you imagine if, like the Pope came out and said, I support evolution,
Here's a
everyone
couple.
would have a poop.
Here's a couple of the words that she.
Everyone just gets up and you're like, you know what I need to do? I need to go to the bathroom now.
I have to have.
I am so fed up with this.
I need a poop. The Crimean War.
What's
That
the Crimean War?
Britain fights Russia alongside France and the Ottoman Empire. That's when Britain and France and the Ottoman Empire attack Russia.
Ooh.
The Indian Rebellion. That's when they finally got rid of the East India Company and went under British rule. The Boer War. That's in South Africa.
Yeah, and also the Anglo-Zulu War, which
The Anglo-Zulu
was
War.
horrible.
Yep, it was terrible.
Sheesh, she was in a lot of wars, wasn't she?
She was. Let's see, what else did she have?
And Dean of Windsor.
The Windsor. Here's a couple things that she influenced directly. White wedding dresses.
Yes, she was the first to have a white wedding dress, and that's been the standard ever since.
It is because of her that brides are married in white
Which is funny because she wore black
for the rest of her
all
life.
of her life.
Tea drinking.
She was a tea drinker.
She was a tea drinker, and specifically having a high tea time. That was directly influenced by Victoria.
And at this time, she's also the reason why coffee never really took off in Great Britain. Because she loved tea so much, she kind of made some rules to make it so it was harder to get coffee into the UK.
Yep.
So
Also because they were in constant war with the Ottoman Empire, which kind of controlled a lot of the coffees.
that is true.
And then a lot of Christmas traditions that we still have today are directly influenced by her and Albert. Trees.
Mm-hmm.
So the actual adoption of the Christmas tree was a very Victorian thing. Cards. Christmas cards. She actually sent out cards. And speaking of just sending out cards, she is one of the most prolific writers in all history.
Yep, she has amazing journals, letters, notes, and that's why we know so much about her is because she literally documented everything.
It is estimated that she wrote 60...
I think my babies are ugly.
Well, she did.
You think you're good. 100%. The only baby that she didn't find ugly was her youngest, who she called plump and delightsome, but everybody else she thought they were ugly. Now, I have to be semi-sympathetic because it probably was that she was going through some pretty
postpartum
nasty
and stuff.
postpartum depression, and that just wasn't the thing. But yeah, she called her kids ugly all the time.
She looks like my husband. Wide-shouldered.
It is estimated that she wrote 60 million words throughout her lifetime.
And that's the other crazy thing is all royalty and like kings had someone write their words. They say only until the very end when she was getting sicker that she had a scribe, but most of her life she wrote her own.
A huge letter writer, a huge journal writer. 60 million words. I mean, you think about like the average big novel is about 200,000 words. So you are talking the equivalent of 300 novels that she wrote throughout her life.
Wow.
She's more than Stephen King.
Wow, Stephen. Pick up, man.
All right, what's some other things that happened during her time?
So, John Brown, let's go back to Mrs. Brown.
John Brown.
John Brown ended up dying in the 70s, right?
Uh-huh.
Died in the 70s, and she was heartbroken. So she hired another person who just so happened to be Indian.
Yes.
And they ended up having a similar relationship as John Brown. And there were rumors that she was romantically involved with this person as well. But he died in the 90s, I believe, 1890s. And so she was officially a widower, period, by the time she passed away.
All right, let's do some fun things that happened during Victoria's reign. So Dickens published A Christmas Carol in 1843.
Oh.
The Bronte sisters, or the Bronte, I can't remember how you say it, and your wife is going to kill me for it.
Princesses.
But they wrote all of their masterpieces, Jane Eyre, Wuthering Heights, Agnes Grey. We have Mrs. Beeton's Book of Household Management was written. And you guys have probably never heard of that. I didn't hear about this until I read about it, but it was one of the most influential books in what became the prim and proper middle class of how to clean, how to cook, how to dress.
Do I need to read this book?
Yes. So Mrs. Beeton's Book of Household Management, Jake.
Done.
After it's done, you'll know how you can. At one point in the book, I think it talks about how you can find an orphan and pay it very little money to be a servant in your household. So that's kind of awesome.
My son has friends. I'll just throw him a book.
Lewis Carroll published Alice's Adventures in Wonderland.
Because he was
1865.
high.
Robert Louis Stevenson, Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Arthur Conan Doyle's Sherlock Holmes, A Study in Scarlet. Oscar Wilde's A Picture of Dorian Gray. And Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Oscar Wilde?
Oscar Wilde.
I thought he did wieners.
Oscar Mayer.
Oh.
I am an
Oscar Wilde wiener.
So I have to just say a couple things about Oscar Wilde because we're going to get some comments of that. Number one, Oscar Wilde was a very much, shall we say, one of the very first open homosexuals.
Sorry, I didn't know that.
Well, that changes things.
So it does. A brilliant writer, a satirist. He's the one who, if you guys have ever, his famous last words were either me or those curtains go. That was Oscar Wilde.
Never heard that.
You've never heard that?
I bet the curtains went.
Yeah, well, maybe it's because you're not cultured like me, Jake.
I need to read. I need to read that book.
Gilbert and Sullivan's plays came out during that time. HMS Pinafore.
Which is
made famous by The Simpsons.
HMS Pinafore?
Oh, yeah.
Pirates of Penzance is a spoof off HMS Pinafore.
Is that the one where he yells, what is it?
It's the play that's in the play that they crash.
So, yes, but they actually also wrote that one. So Pirates of Penzance was their second way that they just included their first one in there.
Stella? Is that one of theirs?
Stella!
That's not theirs.
No,
HMS
Mikado.
Okay.
Mikado is their other one. The Importance of Being Earnest was there. The arts and crafts movement
Wow.
came about. during her
were
time.
people making little cute stars?
Actually, yeah, kind of.
Scrapbooks.
Believe it or not, that is actually you're not
Victoria scrapbooking with Victoria.
not too far away from the truth.
So really, if you sum this whole up, even though Victoria was an interesting figure in the sense of her opinions, UK was in a golden age of industry, of arts. I mean, you had some of the greatest things that came from the UK at the time of Queen Victoria.
I would even go so far as to say the England that we see today, with its mannerisms, with its food choices, with everything that it is directly related to the fact that Victoria was queen.
Yep.
Because Victoria was a trendsetter that pushed these kind of things forward. You know, that book that I was telling Jake about.
Just stomped on people.
Well, it would
Drink
be hard.
coffee.
She was only 5 foot.
Oh, drink tea.
She was a little tiny lady.
Those little ones can get you.
And she was even shorter. If you guys should go on YouTube and look up her dress, because they have it in a museum. And
And it's tiny.
it is so tiny. Like, she must have been like 4'8" by the time she died, because she was so tiny. It almost looks like a doll's dress. It's cute. What was I saying? England is what it is today because of the Victorian morals that came about directly from Victoria.
And I'll also tell you why. Because this is kind of what Victoria is known for is, and I'll do a little bit more back history, because of certain wars and certain things that were occurring, they were thinking there was going to be a global European war during the time of Queen Victoria.
Sure.
And so she thought, hey, this is how we'll prevent it. I'm going to marry all of my kids into every royal class in every European country. And so they'll be like, oh, I can't go to war with my sibling. Well, backfired. Because they're like, I hate my family.
Well, it would have worked if she wasn't a terrible mother.
That's true.
Like, the very fact that her oldest daughter, influenced by her own mother's upbringing, was such an absolute monster to her son, who was the Kaiser.
Yeah.
Directly is, I mean, there's a wonderful book that I read that's called The Eagle and the Iron, which is about German history during that time in the Bismarckian era. And it really talks about the Kaiser literally was who he was and was war hungry directly because of Queen Victoria.
Yep.
Like, she is to blame. She's to blame for the Empress of Russia raising her children to be just awful people.
Checks.
Just terrible, terrible people, which led to the Russian Revolution.
Rest in peace, Nicholas.
And Edward, although the Edwardian era was actually a really good time for England all the way up until World War I, Edward himself was kind of a putz. So
The only reason that the royal family exists is because of Edward's wife. Edward was...
enjoying himself thoroughly.
He was never home.
Well,
He went out for milk.
he was so enigmatic. I would love to do him sometime, because he really
He was unbuttoning his bottom
he was like,
button.
I'm gonna have I need another lunch.
At least he's not King Henry that had a stool made for him.
That's true.
Or a whole house of toilets.
Oh, no, that was Queen Elizabeth that had a stool made for her.
Yeah, it was.
Awkward.
Josh is getting a little bit not PG-13 over here, Joshua.
I didn't say anything. She had a stool because she was so skinny.
Oh, okay.
I'm uncomfortable.
But so yeah, Queen Victoria, all of her kids married in, and they ended up all going to war. All their kids,
Their descendants, yeah.
all basically went to war together.
Her grandchildren.
Yep. So if you look at it, the grandchild of Russia, Germany, and England, they were cousins, and they were killing their people.
And in some cases, they were close.
Oh yeah, they were close.
Like,
I mean,
the king or the Emperor Nicholas of Russia and King Edward the
I think it was
sixth or
King
seventh.
King George the First.
Was it? No. Anyways,
Let me look.
they were close. They looked identical.
King
like,
George the Fifth.
Like, they looked scary similar.
Like identical.
Like twins.
Mm-hmm.
So, and yet
And that's the thing is, here's how bad the family hated each other after a little bit. King Nicholas, or Tsar of Russia, petitioned the King of England for him to be able to go and be refugees, exiles. He said no.
He did say no.
Because he thought that it was a ruse to try to claim England as his own.
Yep.
And because of that, they stayed in Russia and
we now have the wonderful cartoon
Anastasia.
Which is
not
absolute butt kiss considering they did find Anastasia's bones.
Yes, they did. But not until recently.
It's a wonderful thought.
Oh, with who played Rasputin in that?
It was Back to the Future guy.
Chris Lloyd?
Yeah.
No kidding.
Yep. He wasn't the singing voice. That was
Jim Cummings.
But yeah, he was the.
Why don't they just give everything to Jim Cummings?
They do.
He literally is. When he passes away or when he retires, Disney's screwed.
Yeah. No, I say there's a few voices. You have him. You have the voice of Goofy.
That's
Yeah.
true.
They're all getting up there in the age, and it's like, man, when they go, I don't think I'm going to be able to watch any of the new stuff.
I don't think so either.
Neither did Queen Victoria.
She didn't.
That's because she would look at still silent pictures and go, "It's talking to me."
So she made it to 60 years as the
Oh,
reigning
yes.
queen.
I was like,
Yeah, sorry.
She made it to like 80 something.
Yeah, I know. Sorry.
She got to experience her diamond jubilee in
Yep.
1897.
There's only been one other monarch that has made it that far, and that was our Queen Elizabeth just recently.
Yep.
She was the only other one that made it to the Diamond Jubilee.
And I was thinking about it, why the UK is so much influenced by Victoria. If you think about it, Elizabeth's mom was born a year before Queen Victoria's death.
1900.
And the Queen mum survived forever and heavily influenced Queen Elizabeth. And so that culture has just been carried on
Sure.
the whole time. Now,
Well, and
King Charles.
I think that there was such a long reign of 60 years
yeah.
that I think that the decorum that Queen Victoria influenced around her after 60 years is going to stick inside your culture.
Yeah, yeah.
And so that culture kind of has continued forward. I mean, even the decorum that they have right now is really a Victorian era decorum.
Yeah, I mean,
That's why they think we're all country bumpkins, I think, as Jake said it so eloquently.
I'm really good with words.
as Queen Elizabeth would say, country bumpkins.
Actually, as Queen Elizabeth would say, her most famous, let's see, her
famous quote.
her famous quote, hold on, bear with me.
Queen Elizabeth or Queen Victoria?
Queen Victoria. I apologize.
You're confusing
We
our audience.
are not
Sorry.
amused.
That's what it was. There you go. We are not amused. Which could be a catchphrase for the Twaddling Along podcast.
We are not amused.
We are not amused.
So anyway, I love Queen Victoria.
Final words, Josh.
I love Queen Victoria. Like I said, when I lived in the Commonwealth, and yes, I will say that because
When I resided in the Commonwealth.
I lived under the monarchy. She is still revered in so many different ways.
Sure.
Every street is named after her. The only other place that I've gone to outside of Ontario, Canada, is Victoria, British Columbia. They named an island after her, for heck's sake. And so, she was so impactful that people still remember her.
Well, 100%. Even when I was over in Scotland, I mean, when I'm going through castles and everything, you hear the history of Scotland, and all of a sudden Victoria pops up.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, where did she come from?
Yeah.
They were there's pride in the fact that Victoria loved Scotland. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's...
Exactly. And so even though there was a lot of crazy things and she had some opinions that may not have been correct, I still think she was a great queen because she kept everything together.
I like it. Final words from you, Jake.
So, I decided to, just for kicks and giggles, I'm like, how can I end a podcast about Victoria? And the
AI.
response I got was a woman who ruled a quarter of the globe, wore black for 4 decades, and probably invented the concept of the RBF.
That is perfect. Because there is
We are
only
ending
one.
on that.
There is
ladies
only
and
one
gentlemen.
photograph of her laughing, and it doesn't look good.
And it does not look good. Yeah.
She was better just resting.
With that, thank you for joining us on this week's Twaddling Along podcast. We will be back next week. It is the spooky season,
And it's Danny.
and it is me, and I've got a good one.
And
That's,
Danny's spooky.
and I've got a good one that's going to be propping up. We might be talking a little bit about poltergeists.
Save your TVs.
Specifically, some poltergeist activities that happened over in England
Barely?
Queen.
not too long ago, actually.
Queen Victoria.
There's still poltergeists?
Oh boy! So a little bit of a teaser for next week.
For any of you who want to know what a poltergeist is, it's translated from a Latin word chicken.
What's a poltergeist, Josh?
A chicken ghost.
chicken ghost. Thanks, Josh.
Polter and geist.
All right, end us, Jake.
I'm ending us. I just want to let everyone know that this has been a remarkable activity that we've been able to perform today, talking about Queen Victoria. I just want to let you know that I do weigh less because of a lost organ.
I didn't think about that. Maybe you haven't lost weight, you just lost an organ.
If that's the case, my gallbladder weighed 15 pounds, so that's a problem. So,
Hence why it was removed.
It's a good reason to have an RBF.
but yeah, that is a really good reason to have an RBF.
And we do have RBF.
We get it from our grandmother.
Queen Victoria.